Hey guys, it's Baban, and it's that time of year, spoopy season. And I think last year I drew some of these cryptids, like I did some little stickers and that, and I sort of liked the designs, and I wanted to have a bit more of a mess about with them, so I'm doing a t-shirt design with them. And the way I designed them was quite cartoony, and what I'm trying to do now is work in more sort of creepy looking stuff that isn't so cutesy and simple. Like, I'm trying to make shit all wrinkly and creepy. So I'm trying to merge those cartoony designs into something that doesn't look too stupid when it's more realistic. And if you follow the art that I post, where I post stuff, you'll probably see that this ends up looking like stuff that I've drawn before, like the same sort of style and the same sort of concept, but what I've been doing lately a lot is I'll draw something and then I'll like something about it and I'll want to mess about with the style. So I'll do something kind of similar just to try and build up the process into something that I like, or like develop the style and how everything goes together and what works together. Anyway, yeah, I am using references and stuff for this. I have everything open on my other screen. I've got like hundreds of tabs of references open. Just in case you thought that I was doing this like completely without reference or anything. It's very good to use reference. Don't feel bad about using references. I wouldn't be able to make Dogman actually look like a dog if I wasn't using references. Anyway, yeah, what cryptids have we got? We've got Dogman, we've got the Jersey Devil, we've got Mothman and the Flatwoods Monster, and I go in later and add Bigfoot and a Chupacabra. I'm not that into Bigfoot, but I want to add Bigfoot in anyway because he's like pretty much the most famous cryptid apart from like maybe Nessie or something. I think I only messed about with maybe 4 cryptid designs. I think it was these 4 as well with the original set of stickers that I did. I did another one afterwards though, but I really liked the designs of them, and they seemed like something I could mess around with a lot, mess around with a lot and have a bit of fun with, like making different shapes. So those were the ones I picked to mess about with. I particularly like the Flatwoods Monster, like the shape of its head and everything, and I changed the rest of the design quite a bit, but I think as long as you've got the head there, it pretty much holds up. And if you guys have got any favourite cryptids, then go and put them in the comments, because I am always interested in hearing about cryptids and urban legends and paranormal stuff. And now I think I'm in the second sketch now. I've done my really scruffy one and then I've blocked it out and I'm cleaning it up so that I can go and do the line art from it. And something that I don't talk about much is brushes, but what I've been using lately is one of the ink brushes on Manga Studio. I think it's the rough one, but I tend to use it so small that you don't really see the texture unless you zoom in a lot, but it's got like a slightly, it's got a slight sort of oval shape to it, so when you draw a line it'll be thinner when you're drawing it horizontally and thicker when you're drawing it vertically, so you can get a little bit of line definition from it that you won't get from just like a regular round brush. And what I'm trying to do is leave some gaps in the line art, because originally I was just joining everything up and making it very definite so that I could select everything a lot easier and I didn't need to go and tweak it so that I could fill in the shapes. But I want my line art to look nicer and a bit less like really blocky and thick, so I'm trying to use this one that's a bit more delicate and not as thingy, but I'm still sort of blocking stuff out too much. You can see how I'm making all the lines sort of really thick and that they line up exactly, which I'm not too happy with because it does look too blocky. Like the hair doesn't look as fluffy as I like it to. It looks a bit too blocky because, like I say, translating these sort of cartoony designs with really defined shapes into more realistic stuff, it's kind of difficult, and the line art being thicker doesn't really work. So like on Dogman, where he's got this sort of axe head shape with the mane on the side of his face, like I don't know, mutton chops, I guess. Got big fluffy mutton chops. They don't look that fluffy. They look like they're much too straight at the ends. They need to be broken up a bit more, I think. I'm using this same ink brush for doing the line art as well because, like I say, it gives sort of a nice feel. I've been using it for sketching as well because a lot of the like pencil and chalky brushes that I was using are a bit too weak. Like they're really blurry and you don't end up getting a nice line with them. It's always really sort of scratchy and horrible. So I'm trying to use these more definite brushes so that when I do a sketch I can actually see where my lines are and it's easier to pick them out and see what's wrong and what's right. And I guess that's the same thing that I'm trying to do with traditional. Like I mainly sketch in pen now. I rarely bother touching pencils and stuff. It's only if I want to do softer, more finished stuff I'll touch the pencil. But it's something that I had issues with paint when I was younger. What I'd do with paint was just put it down like in a wash rather than actually mixing the colour out of the paint. I'd sort of mix the colour and then dip it in water and put it on like a watercolour wash. And I think that sort of carried over into how I was sketching and like using pencil and really soft things. So what I did to combat it with the paint was start using everything on 100% opacity and not allowing myself to turn the opacity down. So what I'm doing now is doing the same thing with my sketching so that I don't pussy out with that by using really weak things to make really cowardly lines. Like I have to be confident in my lines when I'm using something that's on full opacity and it's just going to make the line and be definite. And I'm not sure if that's a problem that anyone else has, like I say with painting, like putting down colours really washy. But tell me if it is, because I want to know if other people did that and made that like stupid mistake. You can kind of see how this is all coming together now. You probably saw me drawing lines over the top again. That's me trying to figure out the composition and the flow and everything. Trying to make sure that all the lines and the way things move around and bend sort of lead your eye around the thing rather than just having one point of focus. You can kind of see with the way I draw fluff and fur and stuff as well, it doesn't look that good. I don't think. I need to work on how I draw it, but I'm sort of stuck between wanting to do more thicker line art with it, like really thick, blocky, shadowy line art to define all the fluff, and just doing it all in like the painting and the colouring. But I'm not sure where I want to go with that, so I'm sort of in between, so I just add little flicks in to indicate where I'm gonna put some of it. But yeah, that's definitely something I need to keep working on. Yeah, and you can see it like with my more fragmented line art where it's not completely all joined. It's a bit awkward to fill in bits sometimes, like you've got to go looking for the little gaps and fill them in and then reselect everything. And we're starting the colouring. Now I knew I wanted this on a black background because it's not going to look right on any other colour, to be fair. So I was thinking about making it all sort of maybe monochrome. Well, yeah, it actually ended up pretty monochrome anyway, but monochrome with reds instead of the sort of blues that I ended up with. But I had to mess around with the colours first, and then I decided, nah, just do it in black and white first, because like I say, I've been doing a lot of tonal paintings and just trying to focus on that and my rendering, because it's a lot easier to do this and then put the colour on. So yeah, I decided to sort of paint all these because it's not really painting this, I'd call it more sculpting this, because I'm again just using this really soft brush, and I talked more about using the airbrushes and stuff in another video. I'll put a link to that at the end. I think it's the mermaid painty one. But what I'm doing is just putting the more rounder shapes on, blocking those out with this soft airbrush, and then I'm sculpting out the shapes with a sharper one to put in all the sharp edges. And I think this is a bit quicker than painting, even though this took me a while because there's quite a lot of detail going on. I think it is easier than painting stuff, especially because with like painting you usually associate it with going straight in with the colours, but I see this more as you're thinking more about the shape that you're defining rather than the colours or anything, so it's a bit easier to do. something else I've noticed that I'm doing is I draw on a Cintiq, so it's like a separate screen, and it's sort of awkward to get the colours right and get the brightness and everything right so that it resembles this other screen that I've been used to working on, like just my laptop screen. But because it's pretty bright and I have to have it up to like a certain brightness to actually resemble the colours, because they start getting kind of muddy when I put the brightness down, it makes me pick darker colours because I'm like really sensitive to the light. Like even cloudy days really hurt my eyes, so when I'm drawing on the computer, especially with when I'm trying to mess with colours or tones and values and stuff, even this white background, the white theme for the program, that really hurts my eyes. So I think subconsciously I'm sort of picking darker colours so that it doesn't hurt my eyes as much, and it's like really affecting the stuff that I do, and it's easier to go and change the levels when you're doing stuff in black and white, so I've been doing that quite a bit. But when I've been doing stuff with colour and I have this problem, it's really, really annoying. And I mean, I think that's the reason that it's happening, but I'm not entirely sure now. I don't know if anyone else has this problem. It's probably just me, but yeah. I'm trying to figure out a way to like either get used to it, or like the lights in my room aren't very bright, and I sort of have to, I covered the light up sort of with a piece of paper so that it doesn't reflect off my screen and into my eye and make it even worse. But it's really difficult to actually light my room enough to get it to get the contrast in the room to even out so that the light from the screen isn't the brightest thing. I was looking at a pair of Gunner glasses. I think I mentioned this before actually. I was looking at a pair of those. There's ones that's like fairly cheap. I think it's like 50 quid or something, and I was thinking that might be an investment, because I know they sort of get rid of the blue light. It's not really going to help the brightness thing, but I thought it might help, and since I've been working in just values and black and white, it shouldn't be affecting that too much, seeing as it's just, I'll only have to really take them off to mess with colours, so that might be a thing that I end up getting, so I'll talk about those if I end up getting them. I'll probably do a review or something. But yeah, those are something that I'm seriously considering, because I don't want to completely ruin my eyes, because I do spend a lot of time staring at the screen when I'm drawing. Oh, and now I'm doing the Chupacabra. He was pretty fun to do because he's just a big wrinkly turd. Look at him, big wrinkly slobbery turd. I quite enjoy drawing like dog noses and wrinkly dog faces and stuff, and it's quite interesting to see, like from looking at references and stuff, how everything kind of is the same as on human faces, but all the proportions are just a bit different. But like the way all the wrinkles move, all the muscles in the face move, it's like the same, it's just sort of stretched out. I don't know, I find that stuff really interesting. Yeah, you just saw me changing the tones a little bit just to make them a bit brighter, because like I say, I end up making everything darker. And now we're doing Bigfoot Squatch. I actually quite like how Bigfoot turned out, considering I wasn't gonna add Bigfoot in, because like I say, I'm not that interested in Bigfoot. I don't know, Bigfoot just kind of bores me a bit, because you just hear all these like hillbillies, like those TV shows where they go out running about in the woods knocking on trees, and then there's like probably some other pack of hillbillies running around knocking on trees, and they're both going, "Oh, it's Bigfoot! It's Bigfoot knocking the trees!" I think those people are a lot more entertaining than like the concept of Bigfoot, because of the idiocy. I'm more into cryptids that are maybe like a bit more violent or a bit more creepy, like with Mothman. He's sort of like an omen, and dogmen are usually like really friggin' creepy and like sort of have this sentience about them from like the stories that you hear. So I'm more into that stuff. And with the Jersey Devil, I just like the legend and the whole mess of monster parts design of him, so he was a lot of fun to mess with. I can't remember what the bat that the head's supposed to look like is. I think it might be a vampire bat or something, but it's a really strange face. Like, even in this drawing, I think his face looks a bit weird, but when you look at the pictures of the actual bat that it's supposed to resemble, that's just what the face looks like. And like I said, it's really interesting to look at different animals and see how this basic formula for how things go together is kind of like warped and stretched in different places, and all these different weird shapes that you get. Yeah, anyway, I ended up going with sort of a bluish tint to it because it looks more spooky, and then I added orange over the top because I wanted this glow through all the wings and the ears and everything, like subsurface scattering, I think it's called. I wanted that to pop up as well, so I, of course, I ended up going with the orange and blue again. I know I used too much orange and blue, but it does look nice. I didn't want it to be completely monochrome, so just having a bit of a pop of orange in little places, I think that made it look a lot better. It looks kind of silvery now, I think, like silvery and bronze. And yeah, I think that's pretty much done. There we go. Give us a like if this helped, share if you think it'll help someone else, and subscribe for new videos on Fridays. Oh hey, and thanks for 4,000 subs! It's quite a little herd of you now, eh? Oh yeah, that's something I keep forgetting to mention as well. We've got a bit of a Discord group now, so that's down in the description if you want to come and join that and chat shit about art with us all. It's a clusterfuck, just the way I likes it. Anyway, there's links where you can buy this on shirts and a bunch of other stuff down in the description. It's on Redbubble and Teespring, so you can get it from either place. As always, all the places that I post stuff, my commission information are down in the description. And here's some of the videos that I mentioned before. Yeah, I hope this helped. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Happy Halloween!